Every now and then I like to break out the crystal ball and see what comes up. So I thought today I would identify the top 10 trends or the top 10 things that I think will adjust or pivot with regard to product management in 2025. Now, there's been a lot of talk about what will AI do? What will we do? Will TikTok still be around? There's so many things that are just happening. So I thought I'd give you 10 little tidbits of information that could help you be stronger and understand what's happening in the marketplace. Now, this research is based on input from all of our coaches that have coached at organizations all over the world. We've coached at 45 and Fortune 100 companies. So this is all like on the ground knowledge that I'm sharing with you. So let me get their notes out here. I have their notes and let's go through the list. All right, coming at number 10. We're going to have a different and more rigorous way of testing. In the past, many moons ago, we saw a lot more A/B testing and customer observation type testing. And I think that we're going to lean in harder on that. We're going to have smarter experimentation and we're going to have improved statistical accuracy on all the tests that we're doing. So we're going to be able to back things up with data, which is going to be really, really nice because I think that the trend was scenario based and behavior based, which I think is great. Don't get me wrong, because I think we desperately needed that. But I think now that we've taken time to really understand our target consumer, that testing is going to focus and be more rigorous and purpose driven. That's the easiest way for me to put it. All right, let's go to number 9. So for number 9, I think you're going to see a reduced level of empowerment. Now, this one I'm not too happy about, but let me explain what I mean. I think that executives are a little bit over agile. There, I said it. And I don't think that's in a negative way. I think they just don't understand. They've empowered and given people, they've listened, they've read the book, they've listened to the rules, they've given the product managers and other people power to control product decisions and empower teams to build the best possible solutions. But what we've discovered is with great power comes great responsibility. In this case, CEOs are going to lean in and say, I think I need to take that control back because I don't know that the products and services that they're building strategically align with the direction they're trying to go. I mean, it may be things that are making the customer happy, but you're starting to see organizations and products getting stuck in a cyclical loop, which is really crazy. But I think that you're going to see more leadership trying to regain control of change management, which I think is going to be really interesting. All right, let's go to number 8. I think that you're going to see a boom or a big growth in product management positions. You're going to see a lot more product manager offerings on Indeed and other places. And I think that this has a lot to do with the boom in AI, a potential stock market recovery where you're going to see, things really exploding there. And you're going to see just strong growth in all the places where people are you're going to see a lot more opportunity, which is great news because that means there's going to be expanded job opportunities, bigger industry growth. You're going to see some really, really cool things happen. And I can tell you that will happen. All right, let's go to number 7. So I think that so there's been a lot of confusion between product owner and product manager. And I think that the product manager role is going to become way more specialized. And what I mean by that is we're not going to have just this general PM role that we've had in the past. You're going to see specialized positions in core, growth, platform, AI, technical. So you're going to see core product manager, growth product manager, platform product manager. And I think that specialization is going to help, but it's also going to dilute. So what's interesting is where you have one core person that can't focus on everything, you're going to see more of a product manager council, which is something that we haven't seen before. Now, all along, I've been teaching about the concept of Po Ba Fa Ta, where you have product owners, business analysts, functional analysts, and technical analysts working together to gather information to inform the product owner so they can make solid decisions. But I think this specialization is really going to start to break out what product managers do, and it's going to eliminate a lot of the confusion. All right, let's continue. So you're going to see, for number 6, you're going to see focus shift. And this is going to be a little bit disappointing. I think that you're going to start to see product leaders act more like general managers. They're going to start focusing more on the things a traditional project manager will focus on: revenue, cost, profits. You're going to see them start to lean in on delivery, which I think is really, really interesting, but also not what I expected. I thought that you'd see a reverse of that, but it makes sense that in a recovering economy, you would see product leaders really start to focus more on the things that are going to really revolutionize the way they do business. All right, let's get to the top 5. These are the important ones, and these are my favorite ones. So, number 5, I'm just going to say it because there's no other way to do it. You'll see less safe. So the Scaled Agile framework has run its course, in my opinion. I am a safe SPC, but what I can tell you is people are starting to get frustrated. SAFE has become so complex. It's become a rigid methodology. It's starting to fade away big time inside of organizations. I mean, we are getting fewer and fewer requests for SAFE certification. We're seeing companies steer away from it. We're seeing companies lean in on less intrusive ways of scaling. A big part of that is adopting practices around change management, adopting practices around quality management systems, adopting frameworks that are lighter weight, like stable. People are doing more of the Scrum take on things and building around it. So what we're seeing is a repeat of something that happened in the past. You're starting to see where Scrum was the core, and everybody says, we want to do Scrum, but we also want to do this. You're starting to see the same thing with regard to scaling. Now, the irony here is one of my very first podcast episodes on the Daily Stand-Up podcast was that none of the standard scaling frameworks would stand, and that organizations would eventually come to terms with a hybrid, much like they did with Agile in general. So this prediction is just something I said before, and it's finally coming to fruition. All right, let's go to number 4. Okay, this is interesting because we all hear about DevOps and we all hear about all these other things. But I think what you're going to see in 2025 is a market for product ops. You're going to see product operations become essential. And you're going to see it following the same path that you might see with marketing operations or things along those lines, where it's going to become better understood what product ops is, and you're going to start to see that trend in growth. So don't be alarmed if you see that term. I haven't seen it yet, but I have a feeling it's not too far ahead of us. It's something we are going to see. All right, let's go to number 3. Number 3 is one that I've seen happening for quite some time, and this is just kind of going to codify it and put it in a statement form. I see product owner roles merging with product manager roles because people are starting to focus on how, what, and why. They're starting to focus on change management, which is exactly what I said was going to happen, right? So it's amazing to me it took this long, but I think that the product owner role also, the traditional or original product owner role where one product owner owns one product and they govern management, that was great for startup mentality. But when you get to large scale companies, you're starting to see product managers step in because they want to make sure they have someone who understands the whole focus, not just a focus on a single individual product, but they want someone who understands the ecosystem. And I think that's where you're going to start to see that evolution, and that's interesting. All right, coming in at number 2. Number 2 is the one that I've also said now for the past couple of years. AI is going to make our lives easier. There you go. So if you're in the product world, AI assists with meeting invites, vision statements, creating documents, making product management work more manageable, right? I'll put it this way. So a product manager asked me last week, they said, is AI going to take my job? And my answer to them caught them off guard. I said, no. I said, AI is not going to take your job. But if you don't understand AI, someone who does understand AI will take your job. And I think that woke them up a little bit, right? Because I'm not saying that AI is going to unemploy people. What I'm saying is that AI is going to help people be able to do more work in a more efficient, effective way. Work smarter, not harder. Don't let AI crush you, but figure out the things you need to know and get ahead of the curve with AI so that you can be the most effective product manager you can be. All right, and then at the top of the list, number 1, you're going to start to see something called product-led growth. This is something that's rarely talked about or not talked about as much as it should be, but you're going to start to see this concept gain momentum. More product managers are going to embrace principles for improved conversion and retention strategies. People are going to start to focus on how do we convert someone who's looking at our product into someone who's using our product, and then what do we need to do to retain them? And I think in the past, there's been a lot of automated systems that do this, but I think it's going to become more of a centralized focus for product managers to figure out, what's going to keep people there and what's going to keep people using your product, because retention is going to be a big thing. You're going to see saturation in the market greater this year, and I think that retention is going to start to be a focus term. So there you go. I'll put away my crystal ball. Now, what I do want to make sure I preface is none of these 10 items are set in stone, signed, sealed, delivered, rock solid, will definitely happen. But what I can tell you is when I've done these kind of predictions in the past, I haven't been wrong before. so, so take it as you will, figure it out. But what I can tell you is I'm excited for product management in 2025. I think that we're turning a little bit. We have a pivot, which is exactly what I expected. But I think that pivot is a positive pivot for most part. For the most part, I think the pivot is positive, and I think that we're going to see some really favorable results in 2025. Well, that's going to do it for this episode. I hope you enjoyed it. If you have a topic you want us to discuss, learn more at AgileDad.com. We'd love to hear from you. And as always, we encourage you to stay healthy, stay well, and stay agile, my friends. Until next time, do take care.